Welcome to UN Autonomous College of Science and Technology. I am Miss Milan Samantray, lecturer in BSc IT. In today's class, we are going to discuss about the topic computer organization. First, let's discuss about some fundamentals. When we are study about computer organization, another term comes into our mind, that is our computer architecture. So, maximum time more people are confused between computer organization and computer architecture. So, first we have to differentiate between computer organization and computer architecture. Let us see some definitions of architecture and organization. So, what do you mean by computer architecture? Computer architecture refers to the attributes of system visible to programmer or those attributes that have a direct impact on the logical execution of a program. Okay? That means, let us take an example of our human body. Okay? So, in the human body, which are visible into the users or the outside world, that is our architecture parts. Let us we are having 2 hands and 2 legs, and these are in the proper place. If we will join these hands in the lower part, then we may have face some problem during the working, and if we will connect that 2 legs in the hand position, then may face some problems during the working or during the eating. So, that is the architecture part of our body. So, let us see the organization. So, organization refers to the operational units and their interconnections that realize the architectural specification. That means, we are having a nervous system. Okay? So, that system is connect all the parts of our human body. Okay? So, like that, the organization is the study about the interconnections which describe in a more detailed way of the architectural part. That means, in the human body, let us take again that example. In the human body, we are having the architectures of hand, leg, which I have given already, and if we will consider that as the organization part, then that is our sensor system. So, these are some examples of architecture and organization. Okay. So, let us see some basic differences of architecture and organization. So, computer organization is concerned with the structure and behavior of a computer system as seen by the user. Basically, organization means how we will organize the hardwares which are or the components which were used in a computer system to get more functions or to get a better performance or better throughput. So, that is our computer organization. It discusses the structure and the behavior. Okay. And computer architecture is concerned with the hardware components and are connected together. Okay. Like what I have given the example, the components, we are having the components of our body. So, that in that way the computer also have some hardware components, and that hardware components are connected together. Okay, like our hand and our leg, our eyes and ears, both all are connected into our body, and it forms a complete human being. So, like that the computer system also some hardware components, and that hardware components are interconnected between each other to form a complete computer system. And how that components are worked between themselves, how they are organized in a proper way, so that they can function in a better way or they can get a better platform, that is we will study in the computer organization part. It deals with the components of a connection of a system. It has some components, but it is not includes the hardware components. It includes the components of connection in a system. In our human body, we are having hand, leg, only we are not having that much of component. We are also having our stomach, our heart. So, that part also one component of our human being. So, the organization part deals with that, and the architecture part deals with the outside, and the architecture is as the interface between hardware and the software. Okay. Like our internal body system is a software part, and our outer body part is a hardware system, and the architecture is the interface. Okay. How we will interact with the outside world or with the environment. Next, So, computer organization tells us how exactly all the units in the system are arranged and interconnected. That means we will discuss the details about how that will be arranged, how we will place some components in its proper place, that will be in the computer organization. Okay. And computer architecture is the functionality. Okay. So, it will discuss the functionalities, like in our hand we have to take something, we have to put something like that, and in the leg we have to work. Okay. So, it will describe that, and organization tells the interconnection between these systems, these components. So, an organization is done on the basis of architecture, and while designing a computer, system architecture is considered first. That means, when we are designing a computer system, as we are going to study about computer organization, so first we have to decide what will be the architecture, what will be the layout of a system, what components we will consider in a system, or what components we will put in a system, so that we can get a better performance or better throughput. And so, organization is based on the architecture. That means, let us take an example of a computer system for a gaming purpose. Okay. So, when we are designing that, we have to design the hardware components, like graphics card will be some more featured, and in that way if we will organize that, we have to organize the software parts or the interconnections, so that the system can take more stress, because in the gaming purpose, when we are playing multiple games, the system may get hanged. So, in that way, if we are developing a system for gaming purpose, means we have to develop the internal part or the interconnections, so that we can play the games. Okay. So, the organization is based on the architecture. What we want to see, what will be the behavior of our system, according to that we have to design the organization part. But what will be the components, what will be the layouts, how the components will be placed and where it will be placed, that will be discussed in the computer architecture. Let us see how the organizational parts are different in different generations. Okay. Like our functionalities or our memory power, our behavior is something different from our parents. So, generation by generation, it may, some features are incremented and some features are decremented. Okay. So, like that in computer system also, when we are going for a evolution, we are developing something and we are reducing something. Okay. So, let us see the evolution of computers. Okay. So, first the computers is designed, it is called as Abacus, which is designed 5000 years ago. It is a modern computer that have a greatest and more profound effect on society. First it is developed, it is named as Abacus. Okay. And next is our, in 1944 it is called as Mac-I. This computer was used only for calculations, because calculator is also one type of computer. It is a part, but we cannot call it as a complete computer system, because we cannot do programming, we cannot play the games, that there are many programs, many softwares which we have to run in a computer program. Okay. So, that Mac-I is only for the calculation, and it is a heavy weight. As you can see, nowadays we can carry a laptop, or we can carry a palm top, a notebook, a mobile phone. So, that is the generation gap, how the organization can be changed. Okay. So, let us go to the first generation of computers. Okay. So, in the first generation, in the 1940 to 1956, okay, that is the generation. Okay. And in that generation, the systems are mainly large in size, and another one is the memory part. Basically, the computers are differentiated on the basis of the memory part, their size, their processors, okay, and how the software or how the programming languages can be transferred. Okay. So, on the basis of that, the generation is proceed. Okay. So, in the first, we are having the size in the large, like in the tons, okay, and the memory is our magnetic DOMs, and The processor is a type of, there is no processor actually, it is in the place of processor we are using vacuum tubes which are worked as switches or amplifiers. Okay. And nowadays amplifier and switches are used, but it is used in a electrically format. Okay. But nowadays a computer system is a electromagnetic system. Okay. If we are designing a completely electrical system, then amplifier and switches are the most important thing or most important component. But when we are going for a electromagnetic purpose, for a better processing purpose, so we cannot use these vacuum tubes and switches or the amplifier purpose. Okay. Next is the, as the large size, it can take more place in a system or in a organization. Okay. It can produce much heat that is regularly overheated, deposit large cooling units. That means in our system also we are having a cooling fan, but in the first generation computers they can get heated in a less amount of time. Okay. So that we may need, and that point of time also they need more number of cooling units as it produce more number of heat. So to cool that all the components we may need large cooling units. So that is one disadvantages of first generation computers. Okay. And next is the programming language, that is referred to as a machine language. Okay. It is a basic programming language, it uses called as the machine language. So these are some features of first generation computers. First one is your, they are large in size, and next one is they are using vacuum tubes, and for memory they are using magnetic drums, and as the vacuum tubes are used they produce more heats. So as it produces heats, then we may need the large cooling units. Okay. And next one is the programming language that are used is called as machine language. Then next see the second generation computers. Second generation is from 1956 to 1963. In this generation the vacuum tubes are replaced by transistors. It is faster than the previous first generation computers, as we are using transistors in the place of vacuum tubes. Okay. And next one is your, that is large in size, and as compared to the first generation computers, second generation computers are smaller in size. Okay. And for memory purpose we are using magnetic storage devices like magnetic tapes. Okay. So in the previously we are using magnetic drums, and here we are using magnetic storage, but some incremented version of that. Okay. So here the main thing is that it is faster than the previous, and it is smaller in size than the previous generation, and it produces less heat, and also it takes less electricity to do the function. So let us see about the third generation computers. What are the changes we have made in the third generation? So third generation is for 1964 to 1971. So first there is vacuum tube, second there is transistors, and in the third generation we are having integrated circuits. Okay. Integrated circuits concept invented in the third generation computers, it is implemented. So integrated circuits or semiconductor chips were large numbers of transistors. That means we are using the transistors, but as you can imagine, if we will process some data in one transistor and we process some data in multiple transistors, then it makes a huge difference between those two. So here we are using the transistors, but we are grouped together that transistors, or it has implemented more number of transistors in a single chip. That chip is called as integrated chip, or through the integrated circuits we have connected number of transistors. So this is not increase the speed of computers, but also made them smaller, powerful and less expensive. Okay. As that is large in size, and also it is a huge volume, and also it is having a heavy mass, heavy weight, but it is smaller and powerful, and powerful means the performance is better, the processing is speed than the previous generations, and it is also less expensive, because we thought that when we are getting more featured systems, that means it may be expensive. Okay. But nowadays easily we can get everything. So it is less expensive as compared to that too. In addition to that, we are having keyboards or monitors as input and output devices to the third generation computers. And also in the third generation computers, that computer have a feature of interacting with computing machines, different computing machines. You can using different peripheral device for getting the input and outputs. Okay. And instead of punch cards and the printouts of previous systems, keyboard and monitors are allowing. Okay. Because in the previously, if we have to interact with the computing machines or other machines, we use the punch card and the printouts. But nowadays or in the third generation computers, we are using keyboards and monitors, okay, in the place of punch cards. Third generation computers having more speed than the first and second generation computers, because it uses integrated circuits. And how the integrated circuits or semiconductor chips are designed? They are designed by using one or more number of transistors, and the transistors we are already using in the second generation computers. Okay. And it is also smaller than the previous, the processing speed is good, so it is more powerful, and it is also less expensive than the previous two generations. Okay. So, go to the fourth generation. In the fourth generation, we have changed a lot of things in the computer development or computer environment. Like, let us see what are the changes we have made. So, during this time, technology developed to a point where manufacturer could place millions of transistors. Okay. In the previously, when we are using semiconductor chips or integrated circuits, we are using some limited number of transistors, but in the fourth generation we are using million of transistors on a single circuit chip. It is called as monolithic integrated circuit. Okay. And also it is more faster than the previous, and the first is our Intel 4004 chip, which are the fast microprocessor. Okay. So, the term is our microprocessor, that is our integrated chips, and now it is converted into the microprocessor, and the fast microprocessor is our Intel 4004. And also what is the change? It is smaller as compared to the third generation. Third generation is smaller than the second generation, but fourth generation the computers are also smaller than the third generation, because if we will consider a desktop as a third generation device, or like our PC, that the box like structure, that is a third generation, and our today's laptops and our mobile phones, our laptops, notebooks, that are in the fourth generation system, that are coming under the fourth generation computers. Okay. So, you can imagine how smaller and how fast we made the computer systems generation wise. Okay. We are changing so much in the computer environments, in the processors, in the memory part, everything. Okay. And also here in the fourth generation we are implementing graphical user interface. Okay. So, and next is our the storage memory also in the huge amount, that means for the memory purpose we can use a huge amount of storage device. Okay. So, we can get a better speed during the performance, during the processing. Okay. So, fourth generation is you can call it is similar to our generation computers. Okay. As in our generation computers we are having the microprocessors, maybe it is multiprocessor or multitasking, but we are having the microprocessor chip in our system, and also it is smaller than the previous. As you can compare your laptop with the PC, what we have previously, maybe it is in your home, you can also compare there. Okay. And for the memory purpose we are using a huge amount of storage capacity devices, like in a system nowadays it gives the secondary storage as 1 TB. So, in the fifth generation is the generation what we will design, what we are doing the researches on the fifth generation computers. Okay. What are the areas? The areas are the artificial intelligence and the quantum computation, which we have, it is on the way. The fifth generation computers and the one on the way to be launched. Okay. And in that we are implementing or inventing some advanced form of technologies. Okay. So, this is the future. Okay, nowadays in our time we are using the 4th generation computer, 4th generation, but the robots or the what we can call it as the automated systems, automated SC, okay. So, that are coming under the 5th generation computers, okay. That is under research, that is under the development. Okay. So, this is all about our evolution of computers, and as you can see how the computer organization and computer architectures has changed day by day. Okay. So, we will study further about the details of computer organization and what is the parts, how it will be connected, how you can get a better performances, how you can get a better functions. Okay. So, in the next we will see about that. Thank you.